What profession is full of people who think so highly of themselves? Motivational speakers. Come to my seminar where I'll tell you how great I am, how you're not so great, and how you can become great like me if you'll just shell out some money for my product. Which is, incidentally, me. Double quote. I was going to say IT. But then I remembered that we really don't think that highly of ourselves as much as we just think so little of everyone else. Musicians. Funny thing is though, most of the real pros are super nice people. It's the low mid-tier level people that think they're hot tea that are the worst. They're not hot shit. They're like room temperature shit. Real estate. They honestly are mostly morons, but really think they are estate attorneys combined with financial wizards. I might get stoned for this, but military. It's a mixed bag. Some of them recognize that they're just part of a giant bureaucracy. Some genuinely believe in their mission and are humble about it. And some think that signing up for the military because you had no other viable career prospects somehow makes you a hero. I've honestly never met the second greatest welder in the world. Seconded. I work at a plant that makes display shelves for chain stores. They all proclaim themselves expert fabricators, but tool and die have to foolproof weld fixtures so they don't FCK up the assemblies. Also many come in the door not knowing how to set the wire feed rate and gas levels on our MIG welders. Also had a welder fabricate a robot weld fixture, and the first time the turntable spun around the fixture literally fell apart. Professors. So many big egos and so much drama. I considered going into academia myself, but I saw too much as a grad student. Politicians. Some of most elite FCK wads I've ever met. I've met a few that are down to earth here and there, but 90% of them, state and federal office, are just complete assholes. Not their profession but their husbands. Military wives. A lot of them going round thinking they wear their husband's rank. I used to be one. Work. Surgeons. It's not the god complex part. More the idea that they alone have their shit together. No one human can do what they do, and everyone else is an incompetent, drooling moron who is utterly wrong. I have met over 20 surgeons, and the one thread in common is that they all think even their peers are slavering imbeciles who are eternally incorrect about everything. Sales. I've never met more people that think they're the best thing since sliced bread until I started working in a company with a dedicated sales department. So much ego. Working in the creative field. I'd have to say creatives in marketing advertising. In this thread, every profession where you require a durable ego. Director of photography. The film industry as a whole is filled with egos all birthed in film school. So who's not on the list so far? Accountants. Except for Big Four interns after they go back to school. Every chef I've ever known or seen on TV is an egomaniac. Grammar teachers. They look so down on plural disagreement. Nurses. Not all are like this, but everyone knows at least one nurse who posts tea like this. I totally agree. I'm an RN and I never post such but get tired of reading them. I worked nights with this lazy nurse who only did med passes and stayed on her phone. Then her Facebook is all memes about holding your hand. Keeping doctors from killing you nonsense. I deleted them all from my friend list. I don't know if this applies to everywhere, but receptionists in the UK think they're God's gift to the earth. Especially doctors' receptionists. Architects. We all think we will change the world coming out of school. Entrepreneurs, whether they're successful or not. My fiance's little brother decided to start a vaping company with his buddies. It was months of build up talking about, well, according to our predictions the first year will be rough with only $100. 000 profit. But after that we should each be making $500. 000 and I plan on donating a lot of it because I only need $300. 000 to live comfortably and humbly combined with as an entrepreneur. When his company became official suddenly as a business owner. I really think the economy. And soon I'll make enough money to not just pay my parents back. He owes his parents over $40. 000 because of all the things they co-signed for him, including failing out of tech twice. But I can help them retire. Guess who now owes the IRS? The bank. And the employee we all told him not to hire a lot of money? Teachers. And I'm a teacher. 2. The amount of people with all of the I teach. What's your superpower or other cringe-worthy shit like it is ridiculous. The same goes for all of the whiny martyrs on the internet who complain about the hours or taking their work home. If you have to do that, your school is doing some shady shit. Or you aren't doing your job right. Engineers. But, in their defense, they are right in just in doing so. Sommeliers. They have a job that shouldn't even really exist. There are plenty of jobs that shouldn't exist. But do. They take a bottle of wine that a restaurant pays $60 for and make it worth $200. That's as useful as any other sales position. And they know more about wine than Joe Q. Spitcheen knows about cars. That being said, you're right. Actors. Specifically the part-time ones who have done a commercial for Windex or some shit. You work as a data entry clerk and earn a little extra cash by landing a role every 50 auditions. You are not Benedict Cumberbatch. Being a musician. I don't know how they think so highly of themselves. As a guitarist for about 11 years. I'm always questioning my playing and would never even consider myself a decent player. These mothfuckers come along and think they're God's gift and that they're going to be the next Jimmy Page or Zakk Wylde. Edit. Zakk Wylde. Musicians. Especially at top tier universities. When it comes down to things like competition for leading parts and practice room scheduling. People can get pretty nasty. Some might argue that it's just a facade. Though. Because musicians are also self-critical by nature. Either way. I've seen people treated very poorly for the smallest of errors. I mean, we're all humans here. No one's perfect. It sounds like everyone in every field sucks ass. Stay-at-home mother to 3 beautiful kids. This confers no special wisdom or insight. Maintenance person. I'm one. And I've never met a guy who didn't tell you why the other guy f'd a job up beyond repair. Also never met a guy who hasn't gotten supremely pissed off when I fix something they haven't been able to. Personally, I don't give a shit who or how fixes it. I just want it fixed. Pilots. Pilots. Looking down on people since 1903. Retail managers. They get a superiority complex. That they look down at the slaves working pitiful shifts for piss poor pay. They're very unforgiving when you just want a little time off to recharge. Air traffic controllers. I know because I am one. And I may or may not be God's greatest gift to this earth. I am in fact the greatest air traffic controller of all time. Consultants. We know your problems better than you do and we'll solve them all. Surgeons. My stepmom managed a surgical center for a few years. And she came home every day with stories concerning them. They walked around like they owned the place. Funny thing is, they did own it. It was privately owned. With each of the surgeons having a stake. Most of the time they took that as an opportunity to berate nurses and office workers. Flirt, and a lot of the time more, with female co-workers. Throw hissy fits. The whole 9 yards. Surgeons. Especially orthopedic. To be honest, they are really skilled people, but boy do they like to let you know that. Hairstylists. Source. I am one. Some of the stylists I have met worked with are super chill and down to earth. But most of them think they are some celebrity stylist and they constantly post headshots of themselves for advertising rather than pictures of their talent work. Nurses. Every time a nurse checks into our clinic they immediately start to boss our nursing staff around. demand treatments, throw their title around, and argue with the doctor. I don't know what it is about my own profession, but we make terrible patients. Philosophy professors. Ratio of ego to practical accomplishment is infinity. Anybody who works in a MLM or pyramid scheme such as Amway and Herbalife, they always act like they won the world and have achieved the key to success. Retail assistant managers. They're basic grunts with extra responsibilities and somehow they think that makes them better than everyone else. Source: I was better than everyone else. You know the difference between a neurosurgeon and God? God doesn't think he's a neurosurgeon. Engineers. In particular, electrical engineers. There are only two kinds of EEs. Those who believe they are gods, if he were real. Who Lord, gift to this earth and we should bow before their intelligence. And self-proclaimed stupid people who always say they are clueless but are actually perfectly competent. The thing with IT people are that we do not think we are much better than you. We just think we are average and most other people are stupid, at least when talking about IT related things. Fighter pilots. Oh, also venture capitalists. Those guys are the worst. Jesus. They're like stereotypical bad guys from financial thrillers. It's a profession chock full of shitty people. Managers in retail stores like Target and Walmart. Certain levels of management require any college degree. But there are managerial positions below that which don't require one. A lot of these people get some sort of superiority complex. Maybe because they think they're better than all the college students and Latin Americans working beneath them. I don't know why. But they have a knack for hiring a lot of middle-aged typically white women who are real fucking bitches. Micromanagers. Condescending attitudes. And unprofessionalism abound. Moderators. Not the Reddit kind. You guys mostly rock. Teachers. It's always easy to tell who on your friends list is a teacher because they will be constantly moaning about how they're such unsung heroes. But not directly. Through clickbait videos expounding on how great teachers are that their teacher friends like and comment on with so true. Double quote. Plumbers. They think they're God's gift to homeowners. Walking around with their pipe wrenches, toilet snakes and showing their butt crack above their dirty blue jeans. Screw them. Pompous asses. Parents who think feeding a baby and taking him to school makes them heroes, when it's their minimal obligation. It's like someone saying they're good at math because they know 1 + 1. It's the most important thing but also the easiest. Cooks. And I say cooks because chef is a title that's hard earned. Not just given to you after you finish culinary school or because you've worked in a kitchen for a few years. I've worked with a few people fresh out of school who think their tea doesn't stink. I mostly find it amusing now. But it's still pretty obnoxious. I did a student internship at a news station for a bit last year. And the majority of journalists I worked with had this insufferable, holier than thou complex. From what I saw, you had to kiss major ass to get anywhere with this station. So I'm not surprised that some of them had the biggest egos I've ever seen. Astronauts. Pharma reps. They think the world revolves around them. And because I'm stuck doing IT for these morons, I get to hear it every single day. Martial arts instructors. Especially the McDojo types. Most McDojo instructors will lay claim to the know-all, end-all system of ultimate self-defense and brutal combat because they won the regional tippy-tappy tag match. I mean Q-Mite. Back in 84 feet. They also have trained hundreds of black belts. Never mind, most received their black belts at the ripe old age of 8 and the few adults are 380 pounds. Treatment providers for sex offenders. I have an odd job. And I do a lot of business with them. They are incredibly egotistical and frankly insane. I have yet to meet one that's normal. For example, every single one of them I know will tell you they have a 100% cure rate and none have re-offended while in treatment. One recently told me this about 3 days after one of hers got sent back to prison after a failed polygraph which resulted in a confession. Paramedics. Type A everything. People in advertising and media take themselves pretty seriously. I've never met so many stress cases concerned over how effective their ads were or how many people saw some shitty product that they put on TV or the internet. At the end of the day, you'd think these people would be sort of aware of the fact that people don't really like advertisements. The vast majority are boring, stupid, vapid expressions of consumerist culture. But I swear to God they act like they're carrying cancer sometimes. Very surprised I haven't seen nurses in here. I am a nurse. And while the people I currently work with are decent, it's not uncommon to see some of the most deluded, self-absorbed individuals think so highly of themselves when they are not even capable of understanding the rationale behind what they're doing. Secondary source. The abundance of tacky nurse-targeted t-shirts, coffee mugs, license plate frames, bumper stickers, etc. Cardiologist. Not doctors as a whole. Specifically cardiologist. I used to work in hospital business development and marketing. Orthopedist were the bros. OBs and pediatricians were the sweethearts. But man, cardiologists really thought their shit didn't stink. Paramedics. According to my buddy, who is a paramedic, nurses are dumb. Doctors don't know anything. And he could easily be a doctor if they'd just let him prove himself. Aha. Older teachers. In my short time as a teacher I have learned that every teacher with 10 plus thinks she's Jesus. Last week one of my older co-workers was appalled that a tow truck company hadn't given me a discount, which they didn't need to. She told me to call back and explain that as a teacher I am a valued member of their community and deserve better treatment. She proudly told me that she does that all the time. Chefs. As a cook I can't believe the number of people who hype themselves up to be amazing. In this industry I can tell how good you are within the first few minutes of meeting you. The way you prep your station to brunoise an onion is pretty much all I need to see. Don't even need to see you actually cut. How you hone your knife. If you do before cutting, etc. Don't get me wrong. You got amazing people like Thomas Keller who are humble as hell. But the majority of chefs seem to be stuck in time, as they all say I've been cooking for 25 years. That seems to be the magical number. Experience in of itself is meaningless. We assume and hope that you learned some stuff in those years, but what I've come to realize is that 25 years is a long time to form some bad habits.